Hello, everyone. Juxtaposition here. Hope you're having a great day. Enjoying your cup of Joe and your handsome Juxtaposition 1 mug. All right, so let's get busy. Today's video will be entitled My House of Brutal Truth. Let me repeat, My House of Brutal Truth. And if you're getting this message from anywhere other than on my Substack channel, please do sign up and join my channel at Substack. All right. Don't post comments on YouTube. I cannot respond. I'm lifetime banned and disabled at YouTube. So forget about YouTube and forget about BitChute and forget about Odyssey, where I'm all disabled and I cannot communicate. Rumble, I am severely shadow banned, so you can forget about Rumble also, although I can still communicate over there, but very few people see my videos on Rumble, despite the fact that I'm the best channel on that platform. All right, so again, it's Substack is the home for my house of brutal truth. All right. Now, my channel name is Juxtaposition1. All right. That's the number one, not spelled out ONE. It's Juxtaposition, the number one. All right. I am the antidote for poppycock, and I am the antidote for poppycock poison, which is what entertainment and distraction, diversion, and magic tricks having to do with Hollywood and BBC entertainment, that's what they're in the radio frequency poisoning business. And I'm not joking around about that. I mean, we have radiation poisoning coming from EMF, electronic magnetic frequencies, also known as magnetic resonance, and we have light weaponry in play with LED lights and Bluetooth, also known as light emitting diodes, and street lights and headlights and lights in your home, in your cans, in your ceiling, throughout your home. You got your wireless router. That's a weapon system providing pulsing waves of EMF. And of course, we have the sonic, ultrasonic weapon systems, also known as ring cameras, smart meters, that works on ultrasonic sound waves using 6G terahertz sub-millimeter waves, meaning much smaller than a microwave. Itty bitty waves. So they can deliver CRISPR therapeutics, gene editing, Frankenstein monstering, and injure your cellular structure, called molecular engineering, also known as CRISPR therapeutics, also known as human augmentation. Human augmentation. Trying to put forth an argument, a strong argument today, why you should become a paid member to my channel. The overwhelming number of people that I have across all platforms is approximately 17,000 people follow me. But most of them are, real part-time. They come and they go. But, a small percentage of them are paid members. It's $30 a month. I said it's $30 a month. Now, I typically want a 1-year commitment out of you, so that will be $360. If you pay me the whole amount in advance, I'll knock, $15 off. I think it's $345 for a year. So what I'm saying is it behooves you to become a paid member. Then you'll have access to over 1,820 videos in one library. You can browse. Works out it's 19 cents a video. So don't tell me I'm too expensive. I should be $500 a month. Okay, I should be $500 a month. That's what I should be. But I'm throwing it out there for $30 a month. All right, 19 cents per video. Now, the overwhelming videos I have are typically 20 to 45 minutes long. They're packed full of information with footnote disclosures so you can do your own research and double and triple and quadruple check my outrageous claims, which are truthful claims. That's why they're outrageous. If they weren't, they wouldn't outrage you. All right. I'm the antidote for poppycock poison. That's why you come to my channel, because there's the way the world is represented to us through our school system, university system, then the media, the newspapers, the radio, television, and podcasters, who are overwhelmingly the same criminals that run the media in general. People like Tucker Carlson, Bill O'Reilly, Anthony Napolitano. These are the people that are appearing on Fox television, and then they have their own podcast. So, in other words, they go back and forth, and they all have the same master, which is in Geneva, Switzerland. That's who bosses around judges in America. There are no independent sovereign judges in America. Anyway, so there's the way that it's all presented to you, which is a bald-faced lie. And then, of course, there's the unpleasant facts and circumstances that you'll find on my channel, which will undermine and disable the narrative of what you believe to be true, right? The uncomfortable facts which betray the illusion, that's what you'll find on my channel. All right. Now, to put it more succinctly, my channel seeks to reshape how you perceive the world and your individual place within this world, this metaverse or this physical world. There is a physical world, and then there's a psychological world. How you perceive it. It's like a Johari window. How you perceive the world, how the world perceives you. All right? How you perceive how the world perceives you. It's a Johari mirror. I expose who the real criminals are, and the real criminals are in Liechtenstein, Switzerland, with offices in Geneva, primarily Geneva, but also Zurich, Zug, Bern, and Basel, and Lugano, Switzerland. And I expose who these criminals are. I don't necessarily say their names because I don't know their names. They're hidden in their big, monstrous 800-year chateau castles. These are the people who decide the wars, not people in Washington, D.C., who are concerned about a reflection pond when they should be demolitioning the Washington Monument, which is a obelisk chain of command where you pledge your allegiance with a 13-striped flag to Geneva, Switzerland. Donald Trump should be dismantling the Washington Monument, but of course he won't because he is a slave. He is tethered, and he's tethered to the cloud 24/7 with his Omicron booster shots, and he is chained to the Washington Monument, which means that Donald Trump is a puppet of Geneva, Switzerland, and the World Economic Forum and United Nations Agenda 2030. That's who Donald Trump works for. He works for the Swiss fascist, because Donald Trump is a fascist, because his boss is a fascist. All right? Everything in the world is based upon fascism. That's the only game in town, fascism. Everything else is a theatrical presentation of poppycock poison. All right? I'm going to tell you who runs the entertainment industry. It's not really New York or Hollywood. Again, it's going to be anthropology, woke messagings decided again in Switzerland, typically near and around Geneva. French speaking, which can also extend out to Paris, Gay Paris, because Paris is an extension of Geneva, Switzerland. If you don't believe me, you could ask Marie Antoinette if she were around. You might as well demolish the obelisk where they chopped her head off with the guillotine. They chopped off her husband, King Louis XVI, and the man who chopped those two heads off was Maximilien Robespierre. He was the last person to be beheaded in the City of Lights, Paris, at the Place de Concorde, where they erected a obelisk. And while you're at it, you can dismantle and demo the Eiffel Tower. That is the world's tallest obelisk, as far as I can tell. Get rid of the Transamerica Pyramid, I say. Get rid of Coit Tower, I say. Get rid of the Hollywood Forever obelisk. Get rid of the Griffith Park obelisk in Los Angeles, atop the Hollywood sign. I say get rid of the obelisk on Paul Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi's driveway in St. Helena, Napa County. That is number 2, Zinfandel Way. If you don't believe me, I double and triple dare you. Go ahead, Google number 2, Zinfandel Way, St. Helena, Napa County, California. You will see, if you go on the street level, you look through their steel gate, their rustic steel gate, you will see a mini-me version of an obelisk, a mini-me Washington Monument on the driveway. Paul Pelosi drives the cars that he wrecks with great regularity. He used to drive his Porsche Carrera up that driveway until he totaled it. It's a $270,000 car he totaled. And then he recently smashed to smithereens a Maserati, which is $300,000 car. He crashed into a parked car in Yountville a week ago, just a week ago. So, I mean, it's hard for me to keep up with him. He wrecks cars, you know, more than NASCAR drivers do. All right. Anyway, I do have an extensive background in both business and finance, auditing, and looking under the rocks. I also have a lot of experience racing motorcycles and bicycles, mountain bike racing, road bike racing, and trying to think what all the kind of racing there is. Endurance, double century racing. I've completed 13 double centuries. I've completed 5 Markleeville death rides, five pass Markleeville death rides, five pass. That means I have 25 passes that I've officially completed. I actually have more than that because I've done it when it was out of competition. But I have 5 pins that they award you when you get to the top of Carson Pass at the end of a long day. But that's only 128-mile ride. You know, it's a lot harder to do 203 miles with 21,000 feet of climbing. And I've done that twice, the Devil Mountain Double Century. That's 21,000 feet of climbing, and that's 203 miles. I've done that twice. That's how crazy I am. So I am definitely worth $30 a month. Um, Anyway, you need to know that what's going on now is not covered in the media. The media conceals the truth of what's happening. That's my whole point. That's why my channel exists. I wouldn't exist if the media told you the truth. We're in a very far developed deployment stage of human augmentation. That's what the COVID vaccine was. That's what the cell towers were. That's what the smart meters and the ring cameras are. That's what the LED streetlights are. That's what electric cars are. That's what the LED headlights on the electric cars are. And that is what the wireless router in your home is. That's what precision medicine is, the cover story for this, to tether human beings to hack their body area network on their wireless router and connecting humans up to the cloud like your cell phone. They're turning humans into cell phones. They do that by adding aluminum and polymers and titanium, arsenic poison, and aluminum chalk into the sky, breathable air, and water and soil for full spectrum dominance to treat humans like they're silicon chips. You do know that silicon chip is radio frequency, but when you add aluminum and you add graphene and you add titanium and magnesium plus arsenic poison, you will get a much stronger radiation signaling capability. And that is what Geneva, Switzerland is doing. With Zug Switzerland's creation of CRISPR therapeutics, look it up. This is where cryptocurrency and central bank digital currency is being conceived and constructed and designed in Zug, Switzerland, which is very close to Liechtenstein, and it's 20 miles south of Zurich, which is the banking window for private Swiss banking. Anyway, that's my call for arms today. Is that you have to realize that the path of the righteous man, which I believe I'm on, is beset by the selfishness of man and evil on all sides of a gravelly, bumpy road, which is the righteous path. I refuse to travel on the Agenda 2000 path, 2030 path. I refuse to be on that because that's about capitulation and compliance. Capitulation and compliance means you surrender to the Real ID system. You surrender to biometrics. You surrender to giving your DNA through a PCR test. You agree to having your iris, eyeball recognition, your palm print put into a database. You agree. That means you're capitulating and you're complying with someone who you don't even know who they are. They want you. They want you to be surveilled 24/7, which you will be if you have a real ID and you're tethered to the cloud. You already are. You're GPS fenced, geo fenced. But you know, the people in Switzerland aren't. They operate in secrecy, which is repugnant when you consider that all the slaves on their Hunger Game plantations, which they refer to as strategic hamlets or smart cities or FEMA camps, FEMA detention camps, also known as California Forever Cities or Donald Trump Freedom Cities or Kamala Harris Liberty Cities. That's what a FEMA camp is. That's what a penitentiary is. That's what a Swiss Hunger Game detention facility is. But you could be outside the gate in a smart city with flock cameras, smart meters, LED lights, and ring cameras. Well, that's not a whole lot different than being in a federal prison. There is no declaration of war because we're not at war. You're living in a prison. You're in an open air prison. You're in an open air prison. NATO is the enemy, NATO. And Geneva, House of Peace, and Geneva, United Nations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, CERN, the International Telecommunication Union, maritime law, maritime judges, maritime courts, immigration, soil management, farming. These are all decided along with the Nuremberg Peace Accords, the Geneva Convention. It's all administered by the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. Who put them in charge of my life? Why are they running your life? Who do they think they are? GGG is who they are. Geneva Global Governance. So listen, people, if you are a free member of my channel, that's wonderful. But remember, you're just going to get music videos and an occasional 30-minute video from me that I bestow. But over 75% of my videos are locked up behind the paywall. So if you want to get past that paywall and you don't want to have any advertisings interrupting my esoteric comments, because the content that I cover is very complicated, hence it's esoteric. And the reason it is because our enemy is concealing everything using Svengali entertainment trances, like the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, for example, where you can walk all over your favorite star, and the Academy Award Oscar presentation, which is bestowed there at the Dolby Theater, right at Hollywood Boulevard, and the moon landing. 3 astronauts of Apollo 11. They have 4 stars apiece. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Mike Collins. They each have 4 stars at Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street. And you can't get a star in Hollywood unless you're an actor, which kind of tells you what the moon landing was, right? It was an acting assignment. It must be because they have a star just like Ronald Reagan. He was an actor too. Isn't Donald Trump, doesn't he have a star on Hollywood Boulevard? Yeah, he does. He's an actor. Donald Trump, he's not like a really qualified person. Neither was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a better actor, though. All right. But remember, when you're a pseudo leader, you are acting. I'm not acting. I'm here to tell you this is the real deal. I'm not playing games here. So sign up quick like a bunny. Send in some additional money to my P.O. box and obtain one of these Juxtaposition mugs. And maybe someday you'll be a Star Chamber member on my Zoom class. Take care now. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.